Omni-Man, the anti-Superman, and now is going on a redemption arc. For now, what we can see in Season 2, and with Season 3 coming out, and probably out by the time I finish the video, I want to make a video based off the Invincible franchise. And why not put Omni-Man to the test and put him against the king of the monsters himself, Godzilla, to see in this discussion who would win in this fight. Hi, I'm your host Zilla01, and today I'll be answering this question of who would win, Omni-Man or Godzilla. Now, let's start with Omni-Man's feats. Omni-Man was able to kill each member of the Guardians in the Globe with ease. He was able to chop the Immortal in half, and if a person wanted to rip another person, that would take 1,260 ibs of force, and Omni-Man did it with easy. He was able to punch Mark through a building so much it started to collapse, which would take approximately 42 to 43 petajoules. Now for one of Omni-Man's greatest feats in the series, he picked up a chunk of the ground and picked it up into the air, and on average soil in the ground would be around 1.3 to 1.7 tons, which is around 1,000 to 2,400 kilograms, times that by the size of the chunk of the ground. Omni-Man picked up around 240,000 tons. Now let's talk about his travel speed. His most impressive speed feat is shown in the show is not being sucked in by a black hole and about to let him get sucked in on purpose. Now this will put Omni-Man around the speed of light or faster. Okay, now let's go on to durability. With ease and other hits from other Viltrumites, and was able to not be affected by Red Rush's punches, which was going at a high speed, and would break his costume. It was going so fast it broke his costume, which for force of a human is around 2,500 newtons, and Red Rush would be going a bit weaker than that, and would probably be around 50,000 newtons. And his hits and punches will probably be around the same force. And now the blow was actually Red Rush's, not Omni-Man's. Okay, now with that out of the way, let's talk about his battle experience. Since he's a Viltrumite, he can live for thousands of years, and it has been shown that Omni-Man does have an edge against some other Viltrumites, from what we can see when he was fighting on Thraxa with Mark in Season 2. Now, okay, with that out of the way, let's talk about the King of the Monsters himself, and see how he compares against Omni-Man. Quick editing notice, I forgot to speak about how it was mentioned in Season 1 by Omni-Man himself that he stopped a meteorite the size of Texas, which would put Omni-Man's strength around Monty Continental. Okay, back onto Godzilla now. Now, we are going to be talking about Monsterverse Godzilla. He was able to kill male Muto with a single tail swipe, even though he was weakened. He ripped off one of King Ghidorah's heads with ease, and he was toying with Kong in Hong Kong, who is someone who's able to break jaws and rip out organs, and he was able to push open a door which is supposedly around 1 million tons, and all of these feats are before he evolves. But before I get into Evolved Godzilla, let's talk about his energized and thermal forms. Now, with a few pulses, he was able to disintegrate King Ghidorah, and he is able to send out an EMP-like blast in his energized state. And before I get into Monarch Legacy of Monsters, he was able to rip the Iron Dragon into pieces. Now let's talk about his speed and durability feats. He was able to survive being dropped from the atmosphere from King Ghidorah and King of the Monsters. He survived a meteorite which took out 90% of the population. He survived the Oxygen Destroyer, unlike his 1954 counterpart, which takes away oxygen in the surrounding area. Godzilla ran into King Ghidorah so fast it caused a shock wave in the surrounding area. This would put Godzilla's speed around 44 miles per hour. Now, who do I think would win? Well, I think Godzilla's taking the win here. Sure, Omni-Man could probably be annoying for Godzilla, and he probably could pick him up. But I don't really see any good feats in the show that could show that Omni-Man could beat Godzilla. Except for maybe that one statement in Season 1 with the meteorite. But other than that, I think Godzilla will take this win. But if this was the comics, well, that's a whole entire different story. Quick editing notice, I forgot to not talk about Evolved Godzilla. And to anyone who thinks I'm glazing Godzilla, I'm not. No, but you use a comic feat for Godzilla and Omni-Man. Zip it. Later on in the show, I do think Omni-Man is going to pass Godzilla, probably. But if it follows the comics, so yeah, he definitely will. I'm not biased unlike a certain YouTuber. Okay, back to the following video. But before then, if you want, I'll do a comic Omni-Man versus Evolved Godzilla video. But that's if you want it. Okay, actually back onto the video now. Hey y'all. I hope you all enjoyed this video. I think you all enjoyed... Huh? Shut up. Quick shoutouts to Helix, Isidroid1, Derek Theus, Jaden Lorenzi Elmore, Trilix12, Jeffrey Richardson,